Welcome to the Raspberry Pi TV hack. This is a two-part hack, and in step one I'll show you how you can control your television or your DVD player or Blu Ray player, anything that has an infrared remote control. And in the second part I'll show you how to set up all the files and folders and configure the hardware module and the configuration file so you too can control your device if you want to. So I'm using a Raspberry Pi 2 here, and I have used VNC to connect to the Raspberry Pi. And what I'm going to do here is firstly make sure that the LIRC is running. So I'm just going to reset it here. You can see it stops it, starts it again, and I now know it's running. The next thing I want to see is what controls I've got stored. So what I'm going to do is find IR send list and the name of the remote control device, which is a Samsung. So here I can power it on, channel it up, channel down, and so on. And then to send a command, all I need to do is simply type. Right, so the first thing I'll do is change the channel. And what I need to do is IR send once, and key, and the command is channel up. And we're on now on BBC 2. I'll just show that again. I'm going to go to channel 3. And each time I'm pressing it, it's going up. So now we're on channel 5. And obviously if I want to go back, I can do the same thing, except for this time I'm writing channel down. So here I'm going to go back to channel 1, BBC 1. So now we're back on BBC 1. And now obviously we need some volume. So I'm going to use the same command, except for, instead of channel, I'm going to have volume up. So now, as you can see here, we've got the volume. And you can see the volume going up. Now it only does it once, so I need to press it several times before we get somewhere. So I'm just going to go through with this. And you can see the volume going up. I can also mute the volume with key mute. And then the final key that I've mapped is the menu control, so I can bring up the menu on the screen. So that's the basic hack features there. Obviously you can assign each of the keys. If I go to IR send and I list them all again, name of the remote, and you can see there the keys that I've mapped already. And that isn't every single one of them on the remote control, but you can see that I've set some up there as an example one. Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the tutorial. In this part I'm going to show you how to set up the various modules and hardware to enable you to control your TV or your device. The first thing to show you then is where this etc file is. So here we are in the file browser manager. I come down to etc, and it's in a folder called LIRC. And the good thing is all alphabetical, so we can click here and find it. You can see here this is the hardware configuration file, and this is the LRCD, the Samsung remote configuration, and you can also see my original one here and some other ones that I've been testing. You can click in the text editor and open it, but you won't be able to save it in here because it's denied by the permissions, and you have to be the sudo user in order to access this. So in order to do that, I need to open up my LX terminal, press F4, and you can see it opens up in the control panel here.
So the first thing I'm going to do is have a look at a step 1 or 2 in the tutorial where you actually had to add some information to the boot file. If you struggled with this, if you copy this into your LX terminal, press enter, and it will load up the file. And the section that you had to add was here, dt overlay equals lrc space dash rpi dash overlay. And obviously Control X to close that. Didn't ask for me to save it because I didn't actually do anything. So the next section is to alter this hardware file, which is here, sudo nano lrc, and this file it's obviously hardware.conf, which is the name of this file here. So sudo, obviously super user, nano is the text pad, text editor, simple text editor, which I'm going to edit in, and obviously this is the etc file, lrc, and open the hardware file. And here it is. And you've got 4 changes to make. So the first one is to add this section here, and then change the driver to default, and then change these 2 here. If you want the code, it's written in the on the website TeCoEd and in the tutorial. I haven't made any changes. Control X will close it. Normally it would ask you to save it, and then we'll sort it. Now the configuration file, if I go back to my Pi folder, so here's my configuration file which I downloaded from the Search Force and edited the keys so I can control the TV. This one here is just the, as you can see here, it's in the Home Pi folder, so it's not actually the real one I'm going to use. And what I need to do is make sure that it is in the etc folder, lirc, in order to make it work. So this one here is just the one you copy over. And if you follow step 6 or 7, it shows you how you can edit it in here and then copy it over. The easy method to do this is to actually edit it in this folder here. So if I open it here, you can see I've got the same folder, sorry, the same setup, and the only difference here is that this is in the lirc folder, which is where it'll pick it up. Now if I want to add my own codes to this, I need to go again in as a sudo user. So instead of hardware, I can type in lircd, and this is that config file. So now I'm opening this file, which is in /etc/lirc, and I'm opening it up in nano, and obviously I can edit it. And you can copy over key values from various places you can locate them. I found some on GitHub, I found some old ones on various websites, and you can add your own to it. I basically type in what the keys are, and so on. Control X to edit it. I'm not going to save it because obviously I haven't edited anything to it. Now this is the part you must do. You must restart the lirc. And to do this, we use this control here. Restart. There's 3 commands here. You've got stop, restart, and start. Obviously stop does, and in fact I'll show you stop first. This will stop the lirc running. I can then restart it. Now this will throw an error up because restart actually stops it, then starts it, but it's already stopped, so you can't stop it. So here comes the error, basically saying it's failed to stop it because it already was stopped. And then you've got start. I'll run it here. Okay, and now to check it's working, you can list all the controls. So IR send is the command, and then if I press list and the name of the remote, and then quotations. So here are my commands. I can tell it's picked it up because obviously it's recognized them in there. And if I go back into my lirc here, you can see here's the commands. If you're wondering where to get the name of the remote from, that's listed there. So it's called Samsung. If it was called Samsung 142, I'd have to call it Samsung 142. And if it was called Big Bad Remote, obviously I'd rename it Big Bad Remote. So let's just recap what we've done there. We've changed the hardware file. We have added into the LIRCD configuration file the keys and the codes to control the keys. We've then reset the LIRC software module to make sure it's picked it up. And then I used IRSend list to list all the keys that are there. And then to send it, all I need to do is type send once. Okay, so IRSend send underscore once, Samsung, the name of the remote, and then the key. A bit smaller there. So I'll press enter, and that sends a control for the volume up, as you saw in the previous, in part 1 of the tutorial. Okay, so just a quick recap. The files that you're editing, are in this section here. So you're editing that one and that one, but you can't edit them directly from here because they are protected. Obviously you need sudo permission, so what you can do, or what you have to do, is go back into the Electric terminal, and we are typing in here hardware config, or lircd.config, which is the names of these files here. Edit them in Nano, save your changes, and then the final part is then to restart the LIRC. That should allow you then to hack your TV, or to hack your Blu Ray player, or anything that uses an infrared control.